Raptors started hot, but when the adjustments came through from Nick Nurse's side of things, Darko Rajakovic could not respond, and the Raptors fall in a big one to the 76ers in the end and fall to 11-17 on the season. Where did things go wrong today, and how can we fix this? Let's talk about it in today's post-game show. Raptors lose another one here. If you're seeing the scoreboard update beside me, it's because the Raptors game is not quite finished yet, but I am. Down 14 with less than 3 minutes to go. Darko challenged the call down 14 late. I am not going to spend more time on my Friday night watching this team. So we're ending it there and getting into this. Let's talk about the Raptors game here. Drop a like if you enjoyed the content you see from today, and subscribe. We do content like this for virtually every single Raptors game, so get on board with the amateur hour army today. But yeah, it's in the end a blowout loss, and it's a bit frustrating because the Raptors started well. What has been their kryptonite this season is the first quarters, which unfortunately happen in every basketball game. The Raptors this season have been trailing by 15 or more. The Raptors this season have been trailing by 10 or more points in the first half in 15 out of 28 games this season. This, however, was not one of those games. It was, however, one of the 21 out of 28 games in which the Raptors have trailed by 10 plus points at some point during the game. But 15 games out of 28, more than half the games, you're down by 10 in the first half. That's a recipe for failure. That's a recipe for losing a lot of games. And my goodness, Raptors do that. They have 17 losses on the season now out of those 28 games. But today was different. Where I've had some harsh criticisms for Darko Rajakovic this season, and deservingly so, is not setting up the team with the correct game plan, not getting the team to come out with enough energy. But game plans have been an issue. Not today. Game plan was perfect out the gates. The Raptors, recognizing perhaps a bit of injuries in the Sixers as well, they doubled Embiid and Maxey when they could in the first quarter, took away a lot of their game in the first quarter. Defensively, we're set up well, and offensively, we're pushing the pace. When this team plays with pace, how many times have I said it? When this team plays with pace, they find much more success, and especially when you're playing against a guy like Joel Embiid, there's a variety of reasons you want to play with pace. You want him moving in transition, tiring him out more. You want him not set in the paint, and when the Raptors are doing that, they had success. They were running through Siakam early as well, which was coming to great avail. He was drawing doubles. When he wasn't, he was scoring. When he was passing out of it successfully. He was drawing tons of fouls, hitting his free throws, and all of this was accumulating to a monster run by the Raptors. They started the game up 27-12, ended the first quarter with a very nice 37-28 lead. But my concerns for Darko Rajakovic and his ability to coach an NBA team raised when I realized we're going up against Nick Nurse, one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. When Nick Nurse makes those adjustments, how is Darko going to counter that? The answer was he's not, and he didn't. And the Sixers from the second quarter onwards were absolutely dominant, barring other than maybe one big run at the end of the third by the Raptors. They dominated the second quarter, won that quarter 33-21. They dominated the third quarter. The Raptors just closed the third on a 12-3 run to keep it close. And then they dominated the fourth quarter. Most alarmingly, they dominated the start of the fourth quarter when Joel Embiid is not on the floor. Joel Embiid's fourth quarter minutes, he doesn't play the first 6 minutes, but he does play the last 6 minutes. But where the Sixers got out to this big advantage was at the start of the fourth quarter when adjustments were made. They took away our transition game, and as a result, the Raptors had really nothing to go off of unless they were getting high variance looks or they were in a high variance spell from three. They got that late in the third quarter when Gary Trent hit 3 3-pointers. That really sparked us to get back into this game. But as we had it in the end, the Sixers were proven to be too much for the Raptors to handle. So when the Raptors lose games, I'm fine. I recognize, especially the Sixers here. The Sixers were favored by 8 points pre-game. We're likely not going to win this game. But it's just a manner in which we lose these games. If it wasn't for the hot start in the first quarter, which largely was fueled by 76ers turnovers and some sloppy ones at that, the Sixers blow us out tonight. And you could make the case as well that at this point, at 121 to 106 with less than 2 minutes to go, and the Raptors going to garbage time players here while Nurse keeps a lot of his starters out, this is a blowout. And with the Raptors leading at one point 27 to 12, they just got hot out the gates, and the Sixers showed the vast gulf in class here. And once again, like, Darko makes it hard on himself. Siakam was cooking early, was amazing in the first quarter. Second quarter rolls around, and yeah, like, Siakam was immense in the first quarter. They're naturally going to tighten up some defense on him. Darko has no answer on how to get the most out of his players effectively going forward, and we almost completely stopped going to Pascal Siakam in the second quarter when the Sixers go on a big run. The bench continues to be a problem, but so does playing 4 bench players alongside Scotty Barnes. Why do we keep on trying to get that to work when it just doesn't work? Like, sometimes you have pockets where, yes, the 4+1 lines may have some success, but there's way too many situations where that doesn't work, and we need two starters out there with the bench. Darko's not recognizing this, so the recognition on Darko's part for adjustments in game has been poor. Today was another good example here. I'll give him credit at the start of the game plan was right. That was great, but it's a 48-minute game, and when the Sixers made their adjustments, the Raptors had no answers for it. And the biggest concern is just the offensive stuff. 37 first quarter points is great. 21 second quarter points. 31 third quarter points, bailed out by a late run by Gary Trent. And with 40 seconds to go, 19 fourth quarter points. And the Sixers are dribbling this out. We got another one here. So 21, it'll look like, maybe 23 points fourth quarter. Whatever it's going to be, it's not enough points to win an NBA basketball game with the output on the offensive end. Defensively, there's good defensive players all over this team. You're still getting up 121 points here despite a really good first quarter defensively. So, the first quarter is going to mask a lot of like this game could have looked even worse but for that. But we'll credit Darko for that from the start, but we're not going to credit him for anything else. I just don't think that this team is going to work ever with Darko Rajakovic. I'm not convinced he's capable of being an NBA head coach, and every game I see reaffirms my belief in that he is not equipped to be an NBA head coach. Obviously, the roster is the biggest problem here. The front office is the biggest problem, but the coach is a problem as well. And as the Raptors hopefully at some point look to as Achua missed a point, no, Achua just missed an open dunk. As the Raptors look to perhaps build a better, younger core, and like people say, see what Darko looks like with that. I'm at the point where I don't want to waste those good development years and interesting core years on Darko Rajakovic being the coach here. Not really any progress having been made since the start of the season, and we are 28 games in at this point. Again, I'm not really concerned about losing basketball games, like especially to the Sixers, but the manner in which we lose these games. And the team like quitting and having no energy the start of the fourth quarter. It's a 4-point game, start of fourth quarter. No energy. And there's situations where Embiid, who's hobbled on a bad ankle after hurting it early in the game, runs the floor in transition and beats every single Raptors player to the rim. Like effort stuff like that. Morale seems to be deflating a little bit, and these are all signs of a team going completely in the wrong direction, perhaps not going in any direction at all, which is the biggest concern. Box score-wise, first half we did a good job of limiting Embiid and Maxey, but Tobias Harris picked up a ton of the slack. We doubled Embiid, we doubled Maxey, we did a pretty good job of keeping him subdued. That completely went away in the second half, and this is how it goes. Embiid finishes with 31. Maxey finishes with 33. Tobias Harris finishes with 33 as well. So even though their bench stinks, they have injuries, they have depth issues, even we could not combat that despite a dazzling night from Siakam with 31 points, a big night from Pirtle with 19 points. Barnes falls a bit short tonight, 3 of 11, 12 points, not his best. 8 assists, 7 rebounds are good. it's a game off from Barnes. These things can happen. It's still a pretty good stat line to show for it, but yeah, the shooting percentages are alarming once again. 53% from the field for the Sixers, 45 from three. We go 45 from the field, 27 from three. And my goodness, we had looks. They were daring us to shoot, and we could not take advantage. Once the points off turnovers dried up, once the transition play dried up, and Darko stopped going to what made this team successful early, this game went to absolute shit. The Raptors now sit at a lovely 11-17 on the season. Things are going wrong, and they are going wrong very fast. Fortunately, the upcoming schedule is kind. Tomorrow, if you're watching this post-game show later, it'd be today, but Saturday night, Raptors take on the Utah Jazz. Jazz depleted with injuries. You have to win that game. Wizards on Wednesday after the Christmas period. Wizards have 5 wins this season, I think it is. You got to win that game. Tough game against the Celtics when you close out the year against the Pistons. This would be the record-breaking loss in a row for the Pistons, by the way. NBA record for losses in a row is 28. If the Pistons were to lose every game leading up to that Raptors game, they would be on 28 losses in a row. Raptors' chance to set that all-time NBA record for a team losing streak. But the fact that I look at that Pistons game and I'm terrified the Raptors are the team that blows it and lose that game is a testament to where they are this season. I have no confidence top down. I have no confidence in the front office. I have zero confidence in the coaching. Some degree of confidence in the players, but ultimately the product is just not there for them to succeed. And as a result, we once again have a game like this where it's ugly and the Raptors play very poorly. So that does it for the post-game show. Smack that like button if you enjoyed today, and make sure you subscribe as well. Subscribe to the main channel, Amateur Sports. We have another watch party for that Jazz game coming up. Do not miss out on that. Subscribe for post-game shows as well. We'll see you again for the next one.